s'en pas tout.
Happy New Year, jerk faces! It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's a conversation you could be having during the day, but having at night. Yes, we're back. We're live. And with me, co-hosting as ever, is the homeboy Rob.
What's going on, everybody?
Yes, indeed. Well, Happy New Year to you, Robert.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're playing that we haven't seen each other. We saw each other a couple days ago, but
we have not seen each other, Andy. What are you talking about, liar?
I'm just I'm just full of shit, as usual. But let's get this conversation started. Yes, it is the new year. It is hope you didn't miss us too much on our 2-week break. I think it was a well-deserved respite for us. I feel somewhat better, even though I did get sick, and I'm still getting over it.
I think it was good to kind of just take that 2-week break of just relaxing, not doing any work for the podcast, really doing anything, and just kind of getting that rest that was well deserved for all of us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it kind of reminded me of when I had when I ended the semester in art school. My first year. And, at art school, they keep you so busy that if you're not doing something, you feel wrong. And I remember after my first year, right as we took we turned in our last projects for finals, and we were, officially on summer break, and all of me and my fellow classmates, we just felt like, it feels like we're supposed to be doing something.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah, and so... And so it was still nice to, not have to worry about, editing, an episode for the podcast or cutting up, a Nocturnal Transmissions episode or creating thumbnails. Although I will say I did miss it, having that activity. But, it was really nice just not having to worry about that and, maybe sleeping in a little bit later than usual. And, just taking it easy.
Yeah, I spent that time just kind of because we're not doing anything, so it gave me a chance to really think about ideas for the podcast and spend time with a girlfriend and spend time with family, and it was kind of nice. I mean, I still worked and I was still busy, but it was kind of like a nice little break.
Right. Yes. Well, in that spirit, why don't we're going to take this time and kind of catch you up on some of the happenings for us that happened over the holidays. So, Rob, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, because I probably did less than you did, Andy, because you had more family than me.
Right.
I had... same with Thanksgiving. I had my aunt and my cousin over for Christmas. It was still kind of an awkward time of family, because my aunt and cousin are, kind of. My cousin I like a little bit more. My aunt is a little bit more closed off and kind of, kind of the very kind of stick up her ass kind of person. But she's okay. She occasionally laughs and has fun, but not quite like my cousin. And I thought I was gonna have to forgo having prime rib for the Christmas time, but thankfully I was able to. My mom on Christmas Eve made prime rib for all of us, which was great. I had leftovers for days, so that was good.
Nice.
Then on Christmas Day, my family came over. We had my mom ordered Italian food for all of us, which was good. My mom ordered Italian food, so we had ravioli, spaghetti meatballs, and a bunch of other stuff, but a bunch of other like Italian like foods over, which was great. So we had a really good Christmas meal as well. I honestly I had leftovers for days, which was great. I love that.
Nice.
And then, but yeah, like present wise, I made out pretty well. I got a bunch of new like sweaters and clothes, which I really wanted. As I get older, like underwears and socks are a really great gift because I'm kind of I can now probably throw out all of my old underwear and socks and be good. So I'm probably gonna do that.
I mean, I'm the same way because my some of my underwear I've had for a while and they're getting a little holy, and not in that righteous sort of way.
Yeah.
So and then I went and bought some new underwear. It's like, oh my god, how's I living like such a like a caveman?
I'm close to like trying to go a little bit more on the premium side with underwear, with like getting like some of like the Tommy John and MeUndies underwear because I hear like really good things about them.
Right.
And just completely throwing out every old piece of underwear that I have. So I made out pretty well in the underwear and sock department. I can throw out all. I literally can throw out all the old socks that I have, which would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. I got a bunch of new sweaters and some undershirts, which is great. So I got a bunch of kind of nice collared shirts and some nice sweaters. So I'm very excited about that. And on the
you party animal.
I know, and so I also got a gift card to Best Buy, which I utilized for a new game, which I'm very excited about, which I haven't played yet. And I still have some money left over, so I can play. I can probably put that towards another new game for which I might utilize for the podcast at some point. Well, the game that I bought was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is a kind of a historical fiction game set in the kind of the Greek Empire times, set in this like this. Wait, I think it's set in like
the Minoan period, right?
Right. It's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is set in like kind of like the Greek Empire. Towards like the end of the Greek Empire, which is great. So it's kind of a time period that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So I have yet to play it though. I will say I haven't played it yet because I'm still trying to play a couple other games that I have set that are in the queue before that. But we'll probably talk about like that stuff like later in the main show. Because I have I'm actually at if you don't know, I'm on location at another friend's place, which who will be on the podcast at a later time, and we will be talking about games, which will for some of the gamers out there will be a fun conversation.
Oh joy.
So yeah, we have I have a couple of my friends here. A lot of my friends here. I have a couple of friends I haven't seen in a little while. My friend's fiance, and we're having a good old time over here.
Cool.
It's a rare day off for all of us, so we're all spending time together, which has been a lot of fun. So that's kind of why I'm on location today.
Uh-huh. Cool.
So that was in New Year's. I actually didn't to finish off my Christmas and New Year's talks. I didn't really do too much for New Year's Eve. I invited a few people over, and everyone was kind of doing their own thing. I bought a bunch of beers for everyone, but it didn't kind of come to fruition. So I just hung out and talked with my girlfriend for the evening, which was great. which is another topic that we'll talk about before tonight. But yeah, I didn't really do anything for New Year's. Kind of just watched and listened to the fireworks that were happening, and just kind of hung out at home and watched some movies and relaxed, because I work New Year's Eve until pretty late, so which is fine with me. But yeah, because we had and also to share a little bit, the end of the year was actually very good for me.
Mhm.
And the start of this year was very good for me as well, because we dropped the new episode of the podcast very late, which was kind of a downer, and at least personally for me. We filmed that a little bit like later in the year, but after people watching that episode, things actually ended very well for me, because I started dating somebody new. And while she is not in the United States, she's in China, but we kind of spent a lot of the last few holidays together, kind of talking and video chatting and doing all that stuff together. And the year ended, 2018 ended very well and started very well for me. So I'm in a great mood to start 2019.
Sounds like you'd be like the profile, kind of the beginning story of what is that show, 90 Day Bride or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, 90 Day Bride is a show about men who find wives overseas, and they have 90 days to kind of work everything out, and get the paperwork in order and get visas and all that other stuff. That
is very realistic, by the way. It is like the K-1 visa, which is the marriage visa. Yeah, you have 90 days to get married to that person.
Right.
I've looked into this.
I mean, given your situation, I would imagine you have to.
And my friends are laughing at me at the moment, by the way, while we're talking about this.
As they should be. As they should be.
That's not the reason why I'm talking to this person, or why I'm dating this person. But yes,
of course not. Of course not. I mean, yes. Let's not get into it right now. Again, let's save it for the main podcast.
That is going to be. We're going to talk about that on the main podcast,
right.
with you, me, and James.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So let's just save that little nugget for then. And let's anything else happen for you over the holiday? Holidays.
Well, I mean, I worked. The day. Other than Christmas and New Year's, I worked. But fuck, man, it was a great year. End of the year. Great New Year's, and things are great for me, man. I'm really excited for what's coming this year. And obviously, you went to In-N-Out. I can see by what you're drinking.
Yeah, I got those fries that you love so much.
Fuck those fries, dude. In-N-Out fries are garbage. and thank you, Nori. By the way, my friend's fiance is laughing because she knows the truth.
Whatever, don't be a hater, Rob. Come on. You're not that bad.
I'm not. Hey, I have backup here, by the way, Andy. So.
See, now I know how it feels to get someone. See, now you know how it feels when someone just, winds you up, for no fucking reason. You dick.
Fuck those fries.
Yeah, because me and Rob, we have this thing where we kind of wind. We know what buttons to push with each other, and so Rob for the longest time has kind of held it over me, and as he knows what buttons to push for me, and so he's been kind of pushing them. He would push them a little too frequently for my liking, and so now it's kind of about now it's my turn to push his buttons, and one of the buttons is, well, both of them are food related, but one of them so happens to be that he hates the fries at In-N-Out.
They're disgusting.
Whatever, you cretin.
I can name 10 places that have better fries than In-N-Out. Off the bat.
Okay, whatever. Whatever, don't be such a hater.
Thank you.
Why don't you go have some chili with some beans in it, Rob? Fucking jerk.
There's 2. McDonald's. 2. Right there.
But I've never said that McDonald's fries suck. I like McDonald's fries.
But you're saying that they're good, but they're not good.
They are good. I don't know what your problem is.
I
don't know what your problem is. You're just a hater, Rob. If you don't like In-N-Out fries, then you don't love America.
You're a communist, Andy.
Yeah, you're the communist if you don't like In-N-Out fries.
It's so obvious that you love North Korea.
Whatever, comrade. You fry hating commie.
Whatever.
Yeah. So this is the one thing that I know that will always set Robert off. That and beans and chili, but I'm not. That's.
Don't get me started on beans and chili. Beans do not belong in chili. I'm sorry.
Yes, I still remember the episode where you went off on me because I wouldn't back your bean hate in chili.
Okay, first of all, your dad fucks up steaks, and you.
Whoa! Why I gotta bring my dad into this? Whoa! We're talking about you, man. Why can I get all personal and bring in my dad? You jerk! All right, this is about you and your hatred of beans and chili.
Hey, by the way, my friends are laughing at you. By the way, or me, I don't know, but
whatever. They could be laughing at both of us for all I care. But they're probably laughing at you because of your irrational hate of beans and chili.
Beans do not belong in chili. I'm sorry.
Whatever. I forget.
Thank you. Beans and chili are gross. From my friends in the gallery, by the way.
Whatever. Okay, but you forget that I never, but I told you that I personally do not want beans in my chili.
You don't have a position.
I do have a position. I don't want beans and chili. But I'm not going to condemn the existence of beans in chili.
Oh, God. Go kill yourself at this point.
See, this is what I'm talking about. See, this is the fun I get to have. I get to wind Robert up for no reason. Because he would do this to me every single time. When that stupid show 13 Reasons Why was on and we watched it, and he wind me up every single time about 13 Reasons Why. There was one time that me and Robert were filming for his show Up by Up Down, and I shut down production for 30 minutes just to rant about how much I hate that show.
I agree on the second season. I felt the first season was somewhat warranted.
Whatever, dude. Both seasons were garbage.
The first season was better than the second.
No, dude. The first... See, you're doing the same thing that I'm doing now, motherfucker. You're not taking a position. You have no position. Fuck you.
I ended with your position. I agreed with you.
Whatever. You're doing what I did. You're doing what I did about not condemning, chilies that chili that has beans in it.
Oh, give me. Fuck you, Andy. Okay. So what did you do for Christmas and New Year's to move this crappy conversation along about beans?
See, it doesn't feel good, huh? To get all wound up, huh? You asshole. Oh, okay, all right. Back on track. Okay, yeah.
First
for
of all,
me,
we're off to a great start this year.
What?
We're off to a great start this year. By the way.
I know, right? We're totally great. We're making so much progress.
So what did you do for Christmas and New Year's?
for me, Christmas and New Year's. Let's see, Christmas. Just had dinner with my family. We usually have Christmas Eve dinner, and it usually varies from year to year, menu-wise. But for the last few years, I should say, we've been doing shrimp boils, and
I saw your Instagram pictures of that. I was very jealous.
yeah, yeah, and
I
we
almost
did.
came over Christmas Eve.
You should have. What was it? Yeah, we had shrimp, crab legs, potatoes, andouille sausage, corn on the cob. It's become a really nice thing that we do, because prior years we had like ham or is it like a rib roast, or like one year my sister made a prime rib. Uh, but
Man,
yeah,
prime rib is fucking fantastic.
yeah, it sure is. But I don't know, just a Christmas a few years ago. My family got in their heads to that they wanted to do a shrimp boil, and then it was really it was successful, and I enjoyed it, and the rest of my family enjoyed it, and we just kind of kept doing that for the subsequent years, and it's always been great. Good time just peeling and eating shrimp and crab legs. And then Christmas Day, we follow that up with a nice breakfast. My sister usually makes frittata.
Yeah.
But and then we have some mixed berries. But this year we some sort of egg pudding sort of deal. It kind of reminded me of stuffing, but it's not as savory as or herbaceous as stuffing would be. And then we exchanged presents. Of course, in my family, presents are are usually just envelopes full of money. I think we've gotten to the point where if we really wanted something, we could pay for it ourselves. So we just my family, we just give out money. And that might seem very impersonal, but hey, it works for us.
Hey, it is. It is kind of it's a good thing.
Yeah. And so we
now are you a do you guys do like a Christmas Eve, like you do like one gift on Christmas Eve or something like that?
Oh no, we actually we wait until the morning, because since we know we're not actually oh, that's a weird face.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, weirder than normal. But
I drank the wrong whiskey. Oh my god, that was the smoky one. Oh god, that's awful.
Was that bourbon?
No, it's very. Oh god, it's a very smoky whiskey.
Oh okay.
Fuck. Oh god, it's awful.
What brand? What brand is it?
I don't know, but fuck, that was the wrong one. Needs more honey. My friends are laughing at me at the moment.
As they should be. Yeah, pansy.
Fuck, I hate smoky whiskey.
Yeah. It's I what is it? I came across this bourbon recently. Actually, Dancing Jason is the one that introduced me to it. It's called Woodford Reserve. I really like that one.
What's it called?
It's called Woodford Reserve.
Woodford Reserve. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bourbon. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, you might want to check it out.
I might have to.
Yeah, if you're into bourbon, then that's becoming one of my favorites.
I might have to do that.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, man, that was awful. Fuck, I don't like smoky.
Does it feel like you inhaled a campfire?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck, it's awful.
It's like, why, God, why?
Seriously.
Yeah. So yeah, finishing up. Yeah. Then Oh yeah. I got some new glasses.
Yeah, you look very sophisticated.
Yes. All right. I don't know. I honestly don't know why I got glasses. I don't even have much of a prescription, to be honest. But hey, whatever. And so for New Year's, we did, or I did the kind of the traditional Korean thing where we go to the eldest, my the eldest uncle's house, and then we had like a ceremony.
Your Elvis uncle's house, by the way, is that what you said?
What?
Your Elvis uncle's house?
My eldest.
Oh, your eldest.
Yeah.
I was like,
or my oldest uncle. My oldest uncle. I don't know. Yeah. Well, because in Korean culture, like whoever, like the eldest son hosts the ceremony.
I see.
Yeah. And my dad has 4 other brothers, so. Yeah. So and my dad's the second oldest son, so he just missed out on the honor of hosting, but. Yeah, so we went to my uncle's house. We did the ceremony. It's like kind of like a ceremonial feast. You lay out like this huge spread, honoring your ancestors. It's weird, but they only go back 4 generations. Not that my ancestors only go back 4 generations, but in the ceremony, you're only required to, I guess, recognize and honor. Relatives back that far, yeah.
What is that ceremony called, by the way, in Korean?
Well, I've always known it as chesa, but apparently there's like different different names for the same ceremony, because like chesa is more of like a for some, for that same ceremony, but for someone who like recently died.
I see. So it's not like a it's more of like for like recent ancestors and like kind of like more of a.
Well, not just recently died, but like someone who's died, recently.
Recently.
Yeah. So like someone like it's like kind of similar to a wake.
But it's more of like it's paying homage to the past, but not like the very distant past.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you're only really required to recognize and honor 4 generations back.
I see.
Yeah. So, but there's it's called different things. I've always known it as chesa. But there's different ones, like it's kind of like it's kind of serving as like kind of like a wake for someone who's like recently passed away, and then there's also like the ceremony you hold on the anniversary of that person's death, and then also a ceremony you hold on New Year's, which it's like kind of like the custom for like for members of your family 4 generations back. And so that's what we do. That's what we do every New Year's. My family used to do the one for ancestors' anniversary. So like my grandfather and my grandmother, like we used to do the anniversary of their death, or the day that they died, and things like that. But then
Do you still do that with like for your grandparents and stuff?
No, my family has discontinued the anniversary ceremony, and just decided to do the New Year's ceremony, just because it was getting harder on the mothers, and as us children got older, it was like getting harder and harder for us to get together or commit to doing something as frequently as that, and as recognizing someone's death anniversary.
I see.
Yeah, because I mean, we could do our parents, but then like what happens like when our me and my cousins, our respective parents die, and then we all have it multiple ceremonies throughout the year, and so we made it simple and decided to just do the New Year's ceremony, which that ceremony is specifically called Cheolsang.
I see. So it's more of like a celebration of them, but not necessarily a remembrance of them.
Yeah, exactly. And
now, you did you said you did like a shrimp boil and stuff for Christmas. Did you do anything like special for like a New Year's celebration, like a New Year's dinner?
No. Well, the women in my family, they'll go and prepare the food for the New Year's festivities.
Okay.
But other than that, we don't. My family doesn't really. My immediate and extended don't really celebrate New Year's. I mean, sometimes me and my other cousins will plan something or really quickly put something together, but in general, we don't really celebrate New Year's. Or at least not anymore. As kids, we kind of did it, but now that we're older and we've started families and on and on, we don't really do that thing. I specifically went to over to my pastor's house, and because he opens up his house every New Year's Eve to kind of a little gathering and a little bit of Korean New Year's tradition, and playing this game called Yunnori.
Oh, I know that game. That's a good game.
Yeah, it's a for those of you who don't know what that is, it's kind of like a board game of chance. You have these four stick.
Amazing.
What was it?
It's fucking amazing. I love that game.
Yeah, it is pretty fun. You have like these four sticks that kind of act like dice, and they're kind of rounded except for like one side that's flattened. And if you get all four flat sides, that's a 4. If you get all 4 rounded sides, then that's 5, and so on and so on. But yeah, I was on my pastor's team, and surprise, surprise, our team won.
Yeah, it's like one of those games where it's a game of chance, but it's also a little bit of a game of strategy, because
yeah.
There is a little bit of strategy to that game as well.
Yeah, because there's like a map, and you have pieces. You have 3 each person, or I guess if you play in a group, a team has 3 pieces, and they have to get their pieces around the map and back home before the other team. And you could knock people out. You could you could overtake them and remove them from the board. Yeah, it is. It's a game. It's a game of chance, and it's a game of strategy.
Yeah, it's similar to poker in that way, because that game is also it's a game of chance and strategy at the same point, which is a type of game that I like to play, because it plays both sides in that way.
Yeah, Because you could also like double up your pieces to try to get them around the board more quickly. But then that also leaves you open to like if the opposing person or team are able to get a piece fairly close to you, and then they roll like the exact number they need to eat you, then you lose two pieces off the board, which puts you in a disadvantage. So yeah, it's a really fun game. If you ever get a chance to play it, again, it's called Yunori.
It's a great game. It's
a really fun game. Yeah. So I was on a team with my pastor, and God smiled upon us because our team won. And
it's a good game if you're drinking like soju or whiskey. By the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing about us Koreans. We love our drinking games, and we love our drink.
That I will have to say, we for the podcast we definitely had to do like a karaoke night where we drink like soju.
You just want drunk Obama to come out.
Absolutely. I've been like thinking about, because my girlfriend, my recent girlfriend, has been like she's been interested in like the songs that I like, and I think it would behoove us as a podcast to do a karaoke night to where I personally sing songs from like the 70s and 80s. So.
Oh, great! Yeah.
You're like, yeah, whatever. Fuck that.
So yeah, that sounds stupid.
But no, but in reality, it's it is that particular game is it's really fun. It's a fun game. We might have to play that for the podcast.
Possibly, yeah. Although it's kind of weird to play it outside of the season.
Well, like I said, for next year,
do
it for the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could even like live stream it.
I think we should do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we take the time to explain the game. That's what we should do.
Yeah. I mean, we'd have to. I mean, you can't just play a game in front of people and just expect and not explain it. So
I think towards the end of the year we should play like some more of those Korean games.
Okay.
Like some of those like seasonal like Korean games that we tend to play.
I know. Too bad none of us have like a backyard, because then we could build like one of those Korean seesaws.
Seriously,
that'd be cool.
I completely agree with that.
Well, that is our holiday recap. I hope you were entertained by some of the things that we have done, and curious about others.
So overall, would you say that you had a good Christmas and New Year's, Andy?
I would say so, yes.
Yeah, so you had a good time with family. Did you have a good time with friends as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I always have I always tend to have a good time. As I would say, as in my youth, I would say I am the good time.
Yeah. So, what I will say next, because we were planning to have like some more news conversations, trying to catch up on like what's going on in the world, which has been a lot. There's a lot going on, but we also and we weren't going to do a movie review this year, but Yeah, but Andy and I both watched a film together. For it's a film that we've seen, back when it first aired, but we rewatched it again and had a lot of thoughts about it, and we want to talk about it again. And you may know the film called Knocked Up with such stars as Jason Segel,
Jonah Hill,
Jonah Hill, Katherine Heigl,
Paul Rudd,
Judd Apatow's wife. I always forget her name. Judd Apatow's wife.
Leslie Mann,
I forget.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Thank you. Among others.
Among other things, yes, it was. It was just a couple of days ago. We just had our annual jerk meeting, just to kind of discuss, some of the achievements and goals that we reached last year, and to set new ones for this coming year. And after the meeting, me and Rob hung out a little bit afterwards. And the movie Knocked Up came on the TV.
Technically, we watched 3 films, but Knocked Up was the one that really threw us to the floor.
Right. What is it? We were just kind of hanging out because it was actually like a repeat. We kind of caught the end of Knocked Up before our meeting, and then afterwards it came back on again, and we're like, oh, Knocked Up is playing again. So we decided to sit and watch the whole thing. And as we were watching, we certain things were hitting us, and we were kind of noticing things about the movie that really surprised us. I mean, I was surprised. I was completely bewildered by what I was seeing. And I'm sure, and I know Robert was feeling the same way.
Because I said it while we were watching it. It was like, holy fuck, this is a great film.
Right. Yeah. Because interestingly enough, the movie Knocked Up has a very conservative and traditional message. It conveys a very conservative and traditional message. Because for those of you not unaware, Knocked Up is about is a movie about 2 strangers who have a one-night stand, and and because they didn't take precautions, the woman ends up becoming pregnant, and sorry. Yeah, so the woman ends up becoming pregnant, and they decide to have the baby, and they decide to see if they like each other enough to make the situation to make their situation work, and maybe they can be together, or and if not marry, get married to one another. And I was stricken as all hell by this movie, particularly because of who are the people behind this movie, because a great many of them are noted lefty Hollywood types now.
Right.
Like Judd Apatow, he constantly puts out egregiously leftist ideology out on Twitter, and then of course Seth Rogen cucked himself by doing those Bud Light commercials talking about the wage gap and
oh god
and the supposed pink tax and all that stuff. It's just but it's hilarious to me because they were doing such a dangerous thing, because they were showing images of the baby as it was progressing, and I was like, dude, that's so dangerous, because you're actually showing a baby at specific intervals of its development. And you can actually see, like, even at like I think it was like 18 or 20 weeks, it looked like a baby.
But here's the thing. It was before that they were showing pictures of that, and it's like, that's a baby.
Right, and yeah, and they were like they were like, they're basically communicating. It was basically a biology lesson. They're like, oh, it's 8 weeks. That means the baby has a heartbeat.
Yeah, and well, here's the thing. It was many weeks before what would be considered before the time a baby would be legal to be aborted as. But then it was also like saying, in the movie, based on the storyline, you have Katherine Heigl, who was the main female character, who was saying is like, even 8 weeks into the pregnancy, who knew she was pregnant by that time, was saying is like, I'm gonna keep this baby. And then you would have her mother, who was kind of the in quote unquote the bad guy, saying is like, oh, well, you don't want to have this baby, you should abort it, you want to have a real baby. And based off the storyline, saying that it's like, oh, she's the kind of the bad guy, saying it's like, oh, how can you say something like so horrible like that?
Right.
And
yeah, because
it's like, looking at her as like, oh, that's so horrible, why would you say that, something like that, I want to have this baby.
Right. Yeah, because they were like kind of in like this split or dual kind of thing that was going on. Seth Rogen's character went to go talk to his dad, and then Katherine Heigl went and talked to her mom, and the mom was the one who was saying like, oh, you shouldn't have this baby, you should wait till you should wait till find the right person, or but it was like it was not like in like such a romantic kind of way. It was more of like a pragmatic or or some not, if any in any other context you'd be like, you're a bitch kind of way. It's like wait till you find like the actual person that you want to have a baby with, or like like how Robert was saying, she called the mother character referenced like a step sibling, and she's like, oh, your stepsister had an abortion, and then a few years later she was able to have a real baby with her husband. It's just like,
right, that's a fucking shocking statement, by the way. It's really horrific.
Exactly. I mean, just like the idea is like of a real baby, like the baby in the baby in your womb is a real baby.
Well, first of all, like in the context of the movie, it's like, how the fuck can you say something so horrible for that? But then you think in real life, it's like that is what happens. That's unfortunate that if you look on the real like line, kind of like the sexual timeline, there's a lot of families that think that, like, kind of the quote unquote illegitimate child is like, you want to have a real baby, not this fucking like garbage baby.
Yeah, you don't want a bastard.
Yeah, where it's like, the thing is, like, it doesn't matter where the bloodline comes from. That's a real baby.
Right.
It doesn't matter where the bloodline comes from.
Right. But and then also, interestingly enough, they're doing like that kind of mirror kind of thing where Katherine Heigl's character was talking to her mom, and then Seth Rogen's character was talking to his dad. It was Seth Rogen's character's dad that was reaffirming him. It's like, oh no, like having a kid is great. You were the best. So you were the best thing that happened to me, and just like, so are you freaking kidding me right now? It's like it's not the mother trying to get talking the child into keeping the baby, but it's the father who's being like reaffirming and compassionate and understanding. It's like, hey, this is gonna change everything, but it was worth it.
It's gonna change everything for the better.
Exactly.
Well, and here's the thing about the whole movie that we both realize is that it's not that it's just going to change the life of the person, both persons actually, but not only did Katherine Heigl and whatchamacallit, Seth Rogen, they both wanted the child. They both realized it was going to change their life, and later on in the movie, they both said it was going to change their life for the better. This is like one of the most conservative movies that we've ever seen, where not only did Katherine Heigl change her life, where she kind of like relaxed and realized her, kind of like where she was going to go in life, but you also have Seth Rogen, who is a man-child who grew up to be a man 100% and was dedicated to serving, what was going to become his wife in Katherine Heigl's character, and stepped up to be a man. I think that's pretty awesome.
Agreed. Yes. Yeah, because again, in the beginning of the movie, you see Seth Rogen hanging out with his buddy, kind of doing like jackass stuff, smoking weed, and kind of living like that bachelor life. And then, and then you see Katherine Heigl, who was kind of, career driven, a little uptight, I would imagine like the phrase "frigid bitch" come up.
I don't know how to put that, but she was definitely stuck up.
Right. And so you have like these two complete opposites who are lacking something. I'm not saying that that they were deficient as people or they're not. But they were just something. They were just missing something. And that something was each other. What that something was complementarianism, and I think what people are forgetting is that, a man needs a stabilizing element. And usually that stabilizing element is a woman and a family. And the stabilizing element for a woman is a man who it can provide, and and who provides, protects, and functions in the way that a man is expected to do so. And one of the great scenes was at the hospital where Katherine Heigl's character's sister comes in and she kind of like kind of takes over the scene, and she's like, oh well, thanks for helping her to the hospital and everything. He's like, but I got it from here. And then Seth Rogen's character is like, can I talk to you out in the hallway? And then takes her out into the hallway and like just
and tells her to go fuck herself.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, dresses her down, and like, hey, you know what? This is my baby. This is that's my baby in there, and I'm the father.
This is my fucking room.
Yeah. It's like, this is my room. It's like, you go over there where the Pepsi machine is. That's your area. My my room, your area. And then and then he walks away, setting the terms, setting the boundaries. And then Leslie Mann, the actress that plays Katherine Heigl character's sister, kind of like walks dumbfounded back to the waiting room.
Why did he say that to me?
And then she's like, I can't believe he said that to me. And I was like, are you really?
I didn't respect him.
It's like, how pissed off are you? It's like, no, I'm not. It's like, I kind of like him now. It's just like, so we see that growth within Seth Rogen's characters.
Well,
him stepping up as a man. But I mean, beyond, but beyond, or prior to that scene, you see him kind of, getting his act together by first moving out of the kind of the bachelor house with his friends, and getting a place of his own, and then getting a stable job, because at the time he met Katherine Heigl's character, he wasn't working. He was living off of this annuity or something that he got from the government because he got hit by a mail truck, and so
Right.
yeah, and so like yeah, he finally got his act together, and then I guess one of like the final like test was when his friends called him up, it's like, hey, we're gonna go out to this new club. It's like you're gonna roll, and then he was like, oh no, it's I think I'm gonna call it a night. Because he realizes he now has responsibilities.
Yeah, that was the what you're talking about. Like he didn't want to hang. He didn't want to go out to the club and do all that stuff and hang out with his friends because it's like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to do all that stuff. I'm reading the baby books. I'm getting prepared for my son or daughter that's going to come into the world, and he was good. He was growing up. He was growing as a person, and his other friends who were they were kind of the man childs. They're like, yeah, you want to do this or that, and fuck it, let's do it.
Exactly. So surprisingly, Knocked Up is probably the most conservative movie I have seen in a long time.
Well, and here's the thing that because we watched this movie together, which we were not planning on at all. For one, this was not like our we weren't doing a movie of the month planathon. We weren't going to do like a sort of like.
Right. This wasn't planned. We were actually thinking about taking a little bit of a break from the movie reviews until next month, so we could start up.
Right. Exactly.
So we could start up a theme proper, but we were watching this movie, and then we were just like we were being struck by all of these things. It's like, how is it that like this movie made by Hollywood leftists is the most conservative thing I've seen in my life.
Right. And that's the thing, because we look at it and we see Katherine Heigl, who is the main female character, was, I'm going to keep this baby. You have Seth Rogen, who is the main female, or for the main female character, or the main male character, who also wanted to keep this baby, and his friends who wanted him to keep this baby. And you have like the Katherine Heigl's mom and like sister who is like, this isn't a real baby. Like, he's garbage. It's trash. And they're wanting him to like they're wanting Katherine
they're wanting to have her have an abortion. But I mean,
right. And Katherine Heigl did not want to have the abortion. And it was more of a, I'm going to like work to keep this baby, make it into something, and to create a new life that you and I were both amazed by. It was like, this is a fucking conservative movie who is against abortion and wants to, sustain life.
Right, because I mean, imagine, if they did do the abortion, that it'd be over. The movie would be over in the first 15 minutes.
Exactly.
And who wants to see that, or who wants to see, or like, what if they and what if they did have the abortion and like the movie was just like them, like kind of like the aftermath of the abortion? How fucking crazy would that be? If they did do that, would they show like the reality of like how like traumatizing it is, and like how psychologically damaging it is, or would they
It'd be Gosnell.
Yeah, it'd be Gosnell. I mean, for those of you who didn't see either Gosnell the movie or our review of it, but Gosnell is the story of an actual person named Hermit Gosnell who ran this very seedy abortion clinic, and he was responsible for countless deaths in the in the form of abortions.
Yeah, it was a disgusting movie.
Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, if they did the abortion, then the movie would be over, or it'd be God's now. And like would they put like and let's say that they went the Gosnell route, but would they show like the actual kind of repercussions, like the guilt and the psychological damage, or would they try to like fluff it up and like, oh, this is the best decision I ever made, and da da da, now I got my real baby.
But
if they went that route, that'd be completely disgusting.
But I think in a way, this was what we both talked about. Because we definitely talked about this. This is a very conservative film where they didn't go the oh well, I'm just gonna like throw away this baby and kill it. But it's a very conservative film where Katherine Heigl, who is the main female character, is like, I'm not gonna throw away this baby.
Right? Yeah, like the attitude was different too, because you would think like someone who was so career driven and all about her was career driven and didn't suffer wouldn't suffer for no man. She would have such a conservative stance, like, oh, I'm gonna keep this thing, oh, I'm gonna keep this baby.
Exactly.
Because I mean, nowadays any kind of career driven woman would I don't know, would at least have entertained the idea of getting an abortion, whether or not like they go through with it, but they would have they might have maybe taken a little bit more time to consider that option.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it was really astounding that they had such a conservative stance. But then it kind of got me curious. Is like, is it really because Judd Apatow and Seth Rogen are conservatives, or is it that the politics, the Overton window, the thing, has slid so far over that the liberal politics of 2007 seem conservative compared to now?
I would personally say that the politics have shifted, to that point where 2007 is a far away point from 2000. What is it now? Like 12?
19.
Well, yeah, 19.
God, you lush. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, could it be that the Overton window, the kind of polite things that we're allowed to talk about have shifted so far that now those that liberal perspective in 2017 are conservative by 2019 standards?
I look at what I would look at as the things that I like now, a point from now to back then. I would say that the politics have shifted somewhat, to the far to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Both on the what I would look at as far as what I look at as girlfriend wise or conservative wise on my personal bent. But a lot of people have shifted to the left. On the left, but yeah, we're definitely more on the conservative side. It's more on the definitely more on the right.
But it's amazing that 2017 or 2007 liberals are 2019 conservatives.
Right, definitely.
I mean, yeah, it just goes to show you like how far like that Overton window has slid in to where it's to talk about abortion or having a kid or having a person improve themselves through that more traditional process of, you know, getting married or starting a family is just, is rather remarkable.
Definitely.
So yeah, but again, like I have to reemphasize, like how dangerous it is for anyone to watch this movie now, because it is. I dare say that it could be used as a weapon for the conservative movement. Because again, like
I mean,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
also surprised that like, a movie like Knocked Up is a conservative movie.
Exactly, and I mean, anyone who watches it now and pays attention, especially to like the little transitions where it shows like the development of the baby, that is. I would think that the left would try and censor this movie as much as possible, because them showing the different stages, like that, like because what is it, like most states they have that 24-week, the 20 to 24-week abortion law. And if you see like the ultrasounds of the baby at those weeks that they show you in this movie, you can clearly see that it is a baby. It's not merely a clump of cells or what have you, but it is, it has a form, and it's the form of a baby.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So if people like really understood like what is going on biologically inside the womb, at specific intervals of the gestational cycle, then I think they'd be completely turned around on the whole abortion issue.
It's not just some like mass of cells. It's a real human being.
Precisely.
I mean, I've been talking with my girlfriend about this too, and it's just like we both want a human baby, but we've been talking about like what is that baby gonna be? And fuck, man, it's not just a clump of cells. It's something.
Exactly. I think one of the problems is like the left's inability to take a stance on when that baby is alive. As opposed to like more conservative or pro-life individuals, they take the stance that the life began at conception. That's the line.
Yeah.
As opposed
Yeah.
to the left, where they go, they kind of like they use it like a record player's crossfader. It's like, oh, it's like there's the line, there's the line right here, no, back over here, oh, back down this way, oh no, a little bit more up. They can't put a firm finger on when life begins, and that's why you have the arbitrary 20 to 24 week mark for abortions. Because if you actually saw a fetus at 20 to 24 weeks, you would call that, you wouldn't call it a fetus. You'd say that's a baby.
100%. And I would say that like I look at the science and say that like, oh fuck, that's a baby. And I look at my girlfriend and say like, yeah, we both want the same thing, and that's our baby. We want it to be a real, it's a mixture of our DNA, and we want to pass on our DNA. And people look at it and say like, oh well, that's not a real baby.
Right. Yeah. So I think me and Robert would both recommend this movie, even though it was a comedy smash hit. But I guess now we recommend it for different reasons.
Right. Knocked Up is a fantastic movie that you should watch. for its not only its comedic value, but it does tell a great story of that it's not just about a woman getting fucked in the ass, but it's a good story.
Indeed, it is. We're coming up on that hour, so I think we should end it here.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot more on the news of the world that's going on, and
Right, but I think for our first stream back, I think this was good.
Yeah, we definitely talked about what's going on in our lives and what's going on with the podcast and all of that, but it's definitely a good stream back.
Exactly. Yes. Couldn't agree more. All right, folks. That'll be it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of Nocturnal Transmissions. Don't forget to check out our library of other videos, particularly the main podcast, Circle of Jerks podcast. And if you're into old school gaming, we have a Robert Show, Up by Up Down. That's all conveniently categorized for you down at the bottom of the channel page. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts: Twitter at PodcastCOJ and Instagram Circle of Jerks Podcast.
We'll definitely be doing more with the main podcast. We're going to be doing more with Nocturnal Transmissions and with Up by Up Down. But for now, that's the new year.
All right, Jerk Faces. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next week.